Folks, today on the Stoney Ridge Farm Channel, we're going to talk about farm accidents, and you won't believe what you're going to see today. Please share this with like-minded people so we can save lives and save people from being injured. Here we go. What are you doing? Come here. Give me a hug. How you been doing, bud? You feeling bad today? Uncle Jesse. Contact.
I ain't afraid of work.
Contact.
I ain't afraid of play. I ain't afraid to get the job done and do it my own damn way. I ain't afraid of life. Times like this. If you mess with my freedom, I'll tell you just what you can kiss. That's right. Said if you mess with my freedom, I'll tell you just what you can kill.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Stoney Ridge Farm. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. You guys remember me fixing the 2910? Well, we got the 2910 out, and I saw a serious safety hazard here that I've got to show you guys. If this video saves one person from being injured, I have done my job. Please share this video with like-minded people, people that work on farms, people that work in agriculture, people that have tractors. Share this video, guys. It's super important. I've watched a ton of videos about people losing limbs and losing their life from a machine like this, and we're going to talk about it today, and we're actually going to throw a test dummy into the PTO shaft of each one of these tractors, and we're going to show you what happens when you fall into or are sucked into a PTO shaft on a tractor. This is super dangerous, and it's something that everyone needs to know about. Please, again, share this video. Let's have some fun. All right, guys, welcome back to the Stoney Ridge Farm Channel. If this is your first time, please hit that like button. If it's your 50 billionth time, hit that like button. Got a lot of cool stuff out here on the farm. We're on a 150-acre first-generation farm project, and I've got plenty of machines to get the job done. This is the latest and newest machine to come to the Stoney Ridge Farm. This was my neighbor's Ford 2910, and if you guys didn't catch that video, I'll post a link to it at the end of this video. We replaced the injection pump in this. We had some serious problems. This thing would not run up until a few days ago. Got it up, got it running, and now we're about to do a little bit of mowing. But before I go out and mow, I saw this. And this is a problem, a big time problem. Now, back in the day, safety wasn't really something that everybody thought about all the time. They just went to the hospital or went to the funeral home. That's not what we're all about here on the Stoney Ridge. Let's also show you a PTO shaft. And if you don't know what PTO is, PTO stands for power takeoff. PTO is what engages this brush cutter, brush hog, rotary cutter, whatever you call it where you're from. This is an older brush cutter, brush hog, rotary cutter, and it's worn. It's fairly worn. It's not worn out by any means, but it does have some rust holes in it. And this is just part of the pre-inspection process for me to use a rotary cutter. I've not mowed with this yet. I've got to inspect it and make sure it's squared away before I start mowing with it. Now, this is the PTO shaft. PTO stands for power takeoff. PTO is engaged on this tractor by this lever. You pull that lever, the PTO engages. You push that lever back, the PTO stops. Just that simple. This is our brake. This is our low, start, and high. This is our gear shifter, and we have 5 gears. And this is our key, and it needs to be turned off. This is the kill switch. Push that back in so we can start it in a second. So that brush cutter versus the TYM T574 right here, which is an awesome tractor. It's been absolutely fantastic. It has a different system for engaging the PTO. There is a little push button right over here, and we mash that button. That turns on our PTO. Just that simple. We're going to fire this critter up here in a second, and we're going to get everything rolling. So what we have here is a different kind of PTO shaft. So this is the ABI Classic Manure Spreader, the P185. We just got done spreading a bunch of sawdust and wood chips all over the farm. And it's sitting up here so I can blow it off with the leaf blower. So we'll get this all blowed out pretty soon. But I wanted to show you what a protected PTO shaft looks like. So remember the other one, what it looked like? Now look at this one, okay? See this sign on here? That is true, and we're gonna find out just how true that is here in just a second. A PTO shaft should have a sleeve on it just like this. A PTO shaft should also have a chain on it just like this to hold it in position to keep it from rotating and spinning. I have a batwing mower, and you'll see some footage right now of the PTO shafts actually spinning. Now if you fall into one of these while it's spinning, it's probably going to stop, but odds are you'll run a risk of getting hurt, so you got to be careful. This PTO shaft sleeve is also hooked up right here, so whenever the PTO shaft is spinning, it's spinning inside this plastic sleeve. Now I've got a test dummy, and you guys are going to get a chuckle out of this. It's just for fun, it's just for sport, it's not political, but it's funny. I think it's cute. And I couldn't find a Donald Trump mask cheaper than a Joe Biden mask. So we're gonna lay a test dummy on this PTO shaft right here, and then we're gonna fire up the PTO shaft on the Ford tractor, and we're gonna show you just how violent a PTO shaft can be. Guys, please share this with people, like-minded people, people that want to be safe, your family members that you want to be safe. Check this out. Look at what this guy on YouTube did. All right, guys, we got to fire both these tractors up so we can get this started. I am not a fan, and I don't recommend that you get out of your tractor with your PTO shaft spinning. If you want to eliminate this entire safety risk, don't get out of the tractor with your PTO shaft spinning, and you'll eliminate this entire risk, right? Right. If the PTO shaft is spinning, stay away from it. Easy enough. We're going to fire up both tractors. We're going to let this one warm up just a little bit, and we're going to put our friend on the PTO shaft. Let me introduce you to our little friend. Well, let's start the tractor first. Our friend is right here. You just sit tight, Joe. Okay. Contact. Clear prop. Glow plug's running. Okay, we're going to give it a little RPM, not much. Okay. And we're going to engage our PTO. Give her a little more RPM. This is a dangerous piece of equipment. This is a manure spreader. Check it out. Dangerous. That thing will shred a man in half, and we're gonna throw Joe in it. This is Safety Joe right here, and Safety Joe's gonna be hanging out with us. Joe, sit tight, rest up. I know you need your rest, and we're gonna fire up the Ford tractor real quick. So if Joe survives the PTO shaft right here, we'll put him through the manure spreader. All right. Contact. Okay. Neutral. Brake locked. Give it a little gas and engage our PTO. First and foremost, I want you guys to recognize the difference in safety right now, just looking at this. Remember, this brush hog or bush hog has rust in it right here, okay? Underneath there is a spinning blade. Be careful, guys. I know of a man that stepped on his bush hog while it was just idling back down. He'd shut the tractor off, but he stepped on it and his foot went through the bush hog and it took his feet off right there. Don't stand on this thing if it's moving. Don't do it. Don't do it. Now, here's our PTO shaft, and you see it. It's just whipping in there, right? Dangerous. This is not at full 540 PTO speed. Let's give her a little gas. That's full speed. Dangerous, very dangerous. Now, look at this one. This is the PTO shaft. Inside the sleeve, it's still spinning. So let's take my good friend Joe for a little walk. So, you guys know farm life. Sometimes Joe goes out on a Wednesday night and has fun with the boys. Well, last night Joe went out, he had a few too many. He's feeling kind of tired, kind of lazy. And today, he dropped a pin right over on the other side of that PTO shaft. What are we gonna do, Joe? We're gonna get that pin. We're not gonna turn this off, right? So here's what he does. Reaches over, bam. No issue whatsoever. Nothing, no trouble, right? Good job, Joe. Safety aware, right? Joe got lucky. Well, just so happens that Joe accidentally dropped his screwdriver right over here. Joe, you better get that screwdriver. Here we go. What is the lesson to be learned here, people? This is a tractor. This is a blessing to your farm. This is an instrument of death. Look at what happened to little Sleepy Joe. Where is little Sleepy Joe? Poor Joe, he ripped his whole face off. If there's anything that all of us can learn from Joe right here today, be sure you pay attention to your PTO shafts on your equipment. I know of a man, again, there are many people that have lost life and limb with a PTO shaft. Also think about this, getting up on this brush cutter right here. It seems pretty solid, but we've got rust holes right in here. I also know of a man that stepped over his brush hog. In other words, he got off the tractor and he walked around and this was still spinning, just like it was a second ago. And he stepped up on here and he fell through and it took his legs off right there. Guys, safety is super important on your farm. Share this video, please. If we can save anyone, we will. Absolutely. We're gonna try and untangle Joe. Stick around for the blooper reel. We'll see if we can get Joe to go through the manure spreader. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time on the Stoney Ridge Farm Channel. Let me know if you appreciate this. Tell me your farm accident story so that we can all learn from this. If the best story you give me, I'm going to pin it to the top so everybody else can see it. Tell me your farm accident story. Did it happen to you? Did it happen to your friend? Did it happen to your family member? Tell me, guys. Farming is super dangerous, and it's super important to have a sleeve that's chained up on every PTO shaft so this is not spinning and doesn't wrap you up like old Joe up there. See you next time. Woo! Now I've got a test dummy and you guys are gonna laugh, but we're gonna lay the test bunny dummy. Okay, buddy, gotta get you out of here. EMS is on the way. Man versus manure spreader, take one. You need to know how the manure spreader works before we let Safety Joe go through. So we're gonna fire this puppy back up. Okay, the manure spreader works on hydraulics. There's an arm that I raise up back here. And that allows manure to flow through. That's gonna allow Safety Joe to flow through, okay? Now we engage the PTO right here. And that will flip those paddles that you saw earlier. And then there's another lever down here that drives Joe into those paddles. And that's what pushes manure through the manure spreader. That's how it all works. So without further ado, let's let her rip. Well, that'll about do it for Safety Joe. Guys, look at how violent this manure spreader is. All it takes is just a second for someone to slip. They're walking up on this edge or leaning over right here and they slip. This will suck you right back in here. So, guys, please be safe. That's what today's lesson is. We thought we'd have a little bit of fun with it, but please be safe. Think about this stuff. Look at how horrible that would have been. Thank you guys so much. See you in the next video.